Yo, yo, yo. Hey everybody, it's Ted. This week on Coffee Unfiltered, Patrick and I interview someone. Very first interview. Very interesting too. A man named Mitchell Stowman, creator of Team Shado cycling. Mitchell is a cyclist, and although I'm not too familiar with the world, we do go deep into it, and furthermore, that community and culture of which he is becoming a part of. A lot of fun having Mitch on the show. I hope you learn a few things. Mitch is part of a team that's a group of 7 guys right now, all awesome people. They have been big supporters of us in the past few months, ordering our coffee, as Mitch calls it, the fuel of Team Shado. And man, we are proud to be that. This is our very first sponsorship that Good Times has taken part of. So thank you to Mitch and Ray and everybody who's been a part of this fun project so far. Toward the end of the podcast, we're going to let you know how to get a free bag of coffee on Good Times by following Mitch and his cycling team and letting us know that you are doing so. Anyways, we'll get to that point in the podcast. In the meantime, just enjoy it. Great conversation, one of which I feel kind of goes outside the bounds, too, of just cycling, but moreover, creating a community and being part of something. A lot of fun. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks to you all for being here and listening. On behalf of myself and Pat, keep the good times rolling. Coffee Unfiltered, Episode 6. Take care, everyone. All right. Hey, good timers out there. Welcome to the podcast, Coffee Unfiltered, Episode 6. And today is a very special episode. But first, let me say hi to Pat. Hey, Pat.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. What are we drinking today?
I am drinking, actually, it's a mixture of Black Dog and Papua New Guinea because I came to the end of my one coffee and just said, why not mix them? I didn't have enough to make a full amount with the Black Dog, so I just mixed them together.
Man, I'm embarrassed to say I do that all the time. I'm not embarrassed to say, but it's like, if the hopper's empty in the grinder and I don't want to.
I mean, honestly, it kind of, for anyone out there, you guys can play around with any of the blends if you mix them together yourself.
Yeah, we don't have any rules against it. We don't have any copyright or trademarks to our, our specific beans. Try them out. In fact, I guess our only blend on the market is a story for another time. Today, folks, we have something much more exciting, much more important on our docket, and we're happy to introduce to you Mitch Stowman. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
This is definitely something sorry to interrupt you, Ted. When we started this podcast, the intentions were to eventually get people to join us on it. And it really was. That's kind of the foundation of why we did this. So we're really excited to have you on.
You are on. Absolutely. So everyone out there, to give a little insight on who Mitch is our very first, I would say, partner in something. Pat and I have not had our hands in sponsoring anything up until Team Shado came, and I'm going to leave a lot to you, Mitch, to tell us about what's going on with Team Shado, because you guys have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. It's outside of my realm of knowing anything about it because I'm not a cycler, or a recycler. What would you call yourself?
Oh, cyclist.
Yeah. Tell us about Team Shado, man, and yourself. I think I'd like to start with you, actually, Mitch, on just how you got into riding and eventually started your own team of doing it too.
Yeah, well, man, that's a lot to cover right there. But I feel like we got to back up first because I did prepare a cup of Good Times.
All right, dude. Mitch, I didn't ask you. What are you drinking?
Yeah, so I have the Alpaca going today. The Alpaca is
That's a good
my
one.
second favorite. I really like the Black Dog, but the Alpaca's up there.
So does Pat. Yeah, man. Man, I'm so happy that you're joining us in on the fun.
I felt like awesome. I had to. You didn't say anything, but I was like, I got to show up with a cup of coffee, man.
It's pretty much how we imagine this. It's like we're all in the room having coffee together.
That's right.
The only thing missing is like playing poker, I guess. But anyways, tell us more about yourself, man.
Well, so I recently founded this new team, but I guess we'll go back before that. I mean, I got into cycling 10 years ago now. And it was something my dad had been doing for a couple years. And eventually it was kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll go out for a ride, did like the mountain bike thing, because you ride whatever you have. And then we went to the bike shop and picked out a bike, which was like a hybrid bike. If you guys know the differences between bikes. And we went for a ride, and my dad's on a road bike, right? So he's just destroying me this first time out. And we get towards the end of the ride. He's like, do you want to try my bike? Try the road bike style. And I got on that thing and I was gone.
Nice.
And it was just like the difference between those two things. The next day, we were back in the bike shop trading in the hybrid that we had just bought and getting me on a road bike. So it was a pretty quick turnaround there. But
Are you a speed demon on other pursuits? Like, do you go over the speed limit? Or are you allowed to disclose this to me or anything?
I don't know if I should disclose it, but I do have a couple motorcycles. So I think you could say, yeah.
Cool, man. I used to. I'm a baby. I sold mine. I was like,
I
hit 70 miles per hour on a motorcycle, maybe 75, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. Like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. So that's commendable. I think it's awesome. I love the spirit of anybody who can be out there and fly essentially just naked. You might as well be naked, like on a bike.
On a bike. I haven't gone that fast on a bike, but I think my top speed is like 45 or 50 on a bike. But,
man, that's flying in my mind.
Yeah,
that's like, that's flying.
Yeah, with no real protective equipment other than a very thin piece of fabric. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Can I tell you, Mitch, the only reason I know what a hybrid bike is and some nuances between bikes is I did very few triathlons maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I did one of those triathlons on a mountain bike, and I was like the worst. It's all I could borrow at the time. I was looking into bikes, and I couldn't afford the bikes at the time, and I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna borrow. And my buddy did one on a beach cruiser he borrowed, so I mean I was actually better off on the mountain bike than a beach cruiser. But there's a lot of nuances to biking, man, and and you knew right away it was more the speed you wanted, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's so many different elements to it. There's the descending and going super fast. There's climbing a mountain and just getting over that and trying to fight through it. I'm actually a triathlete too, so I started in cycling, and then after a couple years of that, raised the bar and added the running and the swimming, and now I'm still doing triathlons, but obviously I've taken more of a focus on cycling with the creation of the team and all of that. So yeah, I'm really just into the endurance sport world at this point. I kind of find all that fascinating.
So how long ago did you start up Team Shado?
This is the inaugural season. I mean, this is like the first real season that we're doing it. I've ridden with people a bunch before, and now it's just become more of a formal, team. I think last year having all the races canceled kind of sparked it. Being frustrated that there weren't opportunities. But I was out riding with a buddy, Jake, who's actually on the team. And it was one of those things back and forth, like, man, it'd be so cool to be on a team. Yeah, we want that. That'd be awesome. And I think he just looked at me. He's like, why don't you just do it? Just make a team. Like, okay.
I feel like we know Jake, but we don't. The truth is we know Jake's order, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I know most of the guys' orders by now.
Yeah, oh, man. So
that's good.
It's cool to put the guy to the name, sort of, because we've seen Jake's name and we're friends with him on social media and such. But that was he was part of the reason Team Shado is here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely part of it.
How many riders do you have on the team?
So we have 7 people signed onto the team right now. And we hope to add more, but we also I don't want it to become too big, because I think part of the reason we created this was there's a lot of clubs of guys that, go to races and wear the same jersey. But the bigger point of this in the cycling culture is that we want a group of guys that work together and are a little bit more team oriented. So for me, like I don't care if I win. I would much rather work and get someone else to the podium than myself. It's more about the team effort. So that's kind of what we're going for. So 7 right now. I would say no more than 12. We may add a few guys throughout the season, but yeah, that's kind of where it's going to sit.
It's a good amount.
Are you guys riding together at all?
Virtually we're riding together.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that. So I've seen this posted on various accounts on the team members, and it looks like a video game, and I thought that's kind of what it was, and I was like, it's got to be a training program of some sort. Yeah, it was just a graphic of a guy riding on a bike.
Right. So that is that's called Zwift. And yeah, it's a video game for cyclists. So that's kind of what we've been using to train.
And do you sync that up to like a stationary bike? How's it work?
Yeah, so like you can kind of see behind me. I mean, I've got my bike on a smart trainer.
Yep.
So it syncs to the software, and it'll whatever you see in front of you, it'll give you that gradient in your smart trainer. So if you're climbing a mountain, it feels like you're climbing a mountain, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Mitch, do you feel like you're missing anything by the experience in the teens temperatures that are outside right now? Do you feel like you're cheating? I'm just curious.
No, I definitely don't miss any part of that.
No guilt associated. That's great to hear, man. That's great. Yeah, in my eyes, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's not the same as being outside, because I think about running on a treadmill and how I despise it, but I'll run outside, no problem. Like, I don't care. But hey, man, the discipline in the act itself, I guess, keeping up with the sport, I must. I don't know. Do you consider it discipline, or is it all just fun for you?
It's definitely discipline. There's there are fun days, but there are days where it's a struggle, and you just got to get the work done and go through it. I guess that's true of anything, though.
Yeah. How often are you? First off, you're not riding outside right now, are you?
No, I called it quits a couple weeks ago. I'm a little
that's still pretty.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a baby.
Right,
yeah, when it comes to riding outside. So I made it until I think I rode it up in December when it was still in like the 40s. Okay. But yeah, we've got some nasty wind, and now it's in the 20s. So I checked out.
My dog was shaking to the core this morning because we're at a very windy spot in the world near the shoreline, and it just just whips, and he's about 14 pounds max. And I mean, I was shaking too, like a baby. Like I said, I'm not good with the cold. But what's like cycling season start at? Is it an acceptable temperature? Is it coming up? What are we on the fringe of here as far as the next events come?
Well, I mean, at this point, we're hoping to get some group training rides going. We're still laying the groundwork for the season. We were excited to get you guys as a sponsor and a supporter, and we've got a couple others on board too. Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny, like I made this list early on of businesses that I wanted to connect with, and not even specific businesses, but just like industries. So, every cycling team has like a nutrition sponsor. So we checked that one off. A lot of cycling teams have like a CBD sponsor. So we've made those partnerships, and there's this list, and one of those never fails is coffee. So when we had this connection with Ray, another team member to you guys, I reached out and here we are. But we're excited to get out and rep you guys on the jerseys. The jerseys are being produced, and get some training rides in. So I say at this point, the next checkpoint is for me, at least the 50s. I don't want to go back outside quite yet.
Now, I don't know. Do you know Ray and ours connection at all?
Not really, no.
It's a short story. Widener University is where Pat and I went up to 10 years ago now. I mean, I started 2009. Pat started 2006.
Yep.
Ray must have started 2014. It was after I graduated, but we were all part of the same fraternity. And it's just like connections like that really have lasted Pat and I over a decade now for a lot of our people that we know and still hang out with and such. So, I mean, when Ray approached us, it was just like, yes, man, of course. Like anything, I would love to. Like Ray and I knew each other, but like I said, we weren't in school at the same time. So it wasn't like I was partying with him like I had been with Pat or whatever. That's all we did in college together, honestly.
Yeah.
We weren't planning our coffee company in those days.
Yeah. Those stories should probably stay off the podcast.
Yeah. That might have its own separate podcast, but you're right. I can't remember half of them anyways, so it would be a very short podcast. I mean, you just never know where it's going to lead you, and the connections of good friends, and Ray was into what we were doing. So, I mean, honestly, first off, I was flattered that it was even an option, because I remember I still don't know if this was like a cool move of me to do or not. It felt super salesy. And if there's one thing I'd try and do in this company, I really don't care to make sales in that normal sense of the word. It's like, you know what? I tell you what we have. I would love for people to try it themselves so they'll believe me when I say it's the best coffee. And many people do. They come right back and say, I like this one. You just said you even have a favorite. It's like, I love when people have a favorite. It's great. To me, it means someone's connected with something out there, and anyways, with Ray, I said to him, you got to buy the coffee first because I want you to try it before we're your sponsor. You know what I mean? And I think we gave him a free bag after I told, because I felt bad. I'm like, Pat, I just told him to buy our coffee if he wants to have a sponsor. Like, what kind of response is that? You know what I mean?
But it also worked in our favor because he tried. Well,
yeah,
he's partnering up, but he tried multiple types of coffee that way. But I mean, we're always, our thing is if we're gonna have a connection with someone, especially business wise, you want them to at least try the product. So
right, yeah.
Thank you, Pat. The truth is, I would have felt inauthentic about like, yeah, we're partnering, but you've never had our coffee. It's yeah, and so that just meant a lot to me that Ray went the extra mile to say, yeah, I'll give you guys a chance, of course, and that was so cool of him. So. Major respect on that for sure. So tell me because I'm unfamiliar, what are the benefits to the team riding? What's your guys' goal in the end? Do you have fundraising goals? Do you have like training goals? Do you aim to tell me? I have no idea what Formula cycling team is about.
So like right now we're just trying to build a schedule for the season, to go out and represent the team and go hopefully do well and win some races. We'll see how the season goes, but the benefit to a team, regardless, I should back up. So there's a couple different kind of races. So there's crit races. We're on like a closed loop. Usually it's a very short loop, and you're just around and around. Those can be 12 miles. They can be 40 miles. It depends on the race, but they're very fast paced in a closed loop. So that's called a crit. And then from there, it kind of goes to like a stage race or a road race where it's a point A to point B. So those are the two races that we're really looking at, for amateur cyclists of our level. Mm-hmm. So the whole point of being in a team, though, is if you're in a line of guys and you have someone up front and someone in the back, the effort that the guy in the front is putting out is way more than the guy in the back, just because of drafting.
Yeah.
So, if you get a couple guys up front that are really able to work and save the guy's legs in the back, by the time you get to those last crucial miles, you hope that guy's fresh enough to get the job done and get to the podium. So that's kind of the science and the idea behind having a team.
I actually see that the whole drafting thing has always kind of interests me, because I see it with 18-wheelers on the highway apparently do that. I don't know if you knew that, but you'll see sometimes an 18-wheelers caddy cornered next to each other, and it's for draft reasons. But they do it in most races. Runners do it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been kind of interested in that. So I guess, you guys rotate through who becomes first throughout the race, correct?
Yeah, who's taking the brunt of the work. That definitely is a little bit of a rotation. Typically, guys will have designated roles. Someone's a sprinter, so in a crit style race, you're going to wait to the end. You're going to save that sprinter so that he's got fresh legs, and he'll stay at the back the whole time until the opportune moment.
Okay.
And then you got to go. Or you'll have what they call a GC rider, general classification, for like a road race. So that's typically a really good climber. So again, you want to wait until you get them to the mountain and you save their legs, and then you let them go, but that's kind of the strategy behind it.
Okay. So like, all right, let's say you're racing, you got 7 guys right now. So you're limited at 7 for your ability to switch off for who's in front. Are there teams racing beside you that have those 12 guys, those 15 guys? What are these allowances of teams in a race?
Well, at our level, there's not really a set number. You could show up and completely have the race covered by your own riders. So
were you asking me to show up?
If you'd like to, man. No, yeah. How do you look in Lycra? That's what it comes down to.
Where do you live, Mitch? Where are you at?
We're in Jersey. I'm in Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
I grew up near Mount Laurel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in Hainesport for 20 friggin' years of my life. Hainesport, and very few people know where that is, but I guess you do because you bought up against it. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I'm not from Jersey. I'm from Central Pennsylvania, so I moved out here to go to. I went to Temple, and then I got a job out here, so now I'm in Jersey. But I'm not a Jersey guy.
Are most of your teammates, are they all in the immediate area, I guess?
We got a couple on this side of the water and a couple in Philly. But yeah, this general area. Yeah.
Geez, what a central PA thing to maybe say. I've never heard that before. Like, it's so funny. I don't even consider that the river's there. I just crossed the Walt Whitman or the Ben Franklin, and it's Philly. Like Philly is the extension of Jersey for
South
me.
Jersey.
Yeah. Right. I know it's really the opposite. Like, Jersey is the suburbs to Philly kind of deal, but from my standpoint, where I grew up, and the deal, Mount Laurel's like 30 minutes from Philly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, man. We used to live in Manayunk, Pat and I, and that was when we started living there, 2015. That was the first bike race that we attended. Were you familiar with any of that, like the Manayunk bike races or anything like that?
I know a few of them, but not being from the area, I'm definitely still kind of getting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what they were until I always heard about them just being in the area. Before that, I had no idea. But I think it lasted Ted, like 2 years while we were there. It's since ended.
It ended.
Which is a shame because they were. It was, from what my understanding, they were qualifying races for things like the Tour de France and stuff. And it was from you would get, people, Lance Armstrong did it a few times. You get some big names out on it, and it was like a big, big thing for the city. So it's kind of a shame that they no longer do it.
What I'm thinking of really is the race itself was, for those who know Manayunk or that area, it's very hilly. It was known for the hills and the challenges. And I'm thinking about you in Mount Laurel, which is very not hilly. Very,
yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not saying it doesn't have inclines, I totally get it. Especially, where do you ride,
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Where are most of your rides at?
Yeah, I try to stay local. I definitely immediately head, out towards like Chemong and that area.
Oh yeah.
Because there's just less traffic. But I've always said, what we lack in elevation in Jersey, we make up for in wind. So we're still getting our workout. It's just in a different way.
Right.
That's so cool, man.
Where are most of these races that when it happens? Where are they? Are they?
A lot of them are going to be in Philly, crits in this local area. I don't want to say any like races officially yet because we really just haven't decided that as a team, and we'll try to operate as a democracy there. But
for the most part, it's in the general Philly region.
Yeah, there are a couple we might branch out for. There's one in upstate New York that we're kind of interested in, but nothing official.
It's all you get to choose, I guess. That's cool.
Hey, Mitch, is this how do you see your team? What will be the purpose besides being awesome together and having a team, which definitely we agree with. That's an awesome thing to be a part of, with other like-minded people doing what you love to do. That's awesome. But what is the team goal together, as far as is it qualifying for any races? Is that something you see yourself trying to do, or is it raising money of awareness of anything, or is it a way to earn money for yourself? Are there grand prizes? Talk to me like a dummy, because I have reserved asking all of this stuff of you because I've had these questions on mine, but here we are. So please help us.
Yeah, well, there's a couple points in there, I guess. So the first one is that, selfishly, Shado is my own company. So, I've been doing some coaching for cyclists and triathletes. So, getting my own brand name out there is obviously valuable, and putting that on the jersey.
Well, not selfish. I hate to correct you on. I'll let you know. I almost can't let it fly. That's not selfish, man. You are putting your Mitchellness out into the world, and and if it resonates with people, and if it helps people do what they're doing, all the better, man. Put more of your time into the world. So I'm just saying that. Just
well, I appreciate that.
Tell me more.
Thanks for correcting me.
No problem.
Yeah, like that. At the surface level of any team, cycling teams especially, the name on the jersey is a big part of it. So, whatever you've got on the jersey, if you're winning, it's in the camera shot. At the higher levels, you're on TV, so it's important to see that brand. So, that has to be acknowledged. For as far as like the team specific goals, this year we just want to compete and have fun. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think that I'll consider it successful when other teams of this nature pop up in the area. There's definitely a bigger cycling culture goal here. There's a lot of clubs, which I kind of mentioned before, of guys that all show up and wear the same jersey. And there's like literally hundreds of people in the club. But you show up to a race and, hey, you're wearing the same jersey and I have no idea who you are. Okay, well, like, cool, but I want to know every guy on my team and I want to work together, and that should be the vibe, in my opinion. So, hopefully we're able to establish that culture a little bit, and maybe more of these smaller, tight-knit teams pop up, because I think it's just good for the cycling culture, and from there it might grow a little bit more than it has.
No, this is amazing stuff, man. You're really putting importance on the culture of it. Kind of it's much larger than just you and your team, is what you're really saying, is what I'm hearing. You're really looking to be out there with people who can see this as maybe they want to do it themselves too. Maybe they want a team. Maybe there can be more teams. Pat and I there's a lot of shared points that I think Pat and I share here too with you. It's like we would love to see more companies like ours doing true missions, and I don't mean just coffee, but like let's get people out of maybe the threshold of their comfort zone, or maybe they have an idea of something they'd like to do, and in this case maybe it's cycling. And if the road to becoming part of that culture becomes a little bit easier because you and others have paved the way to do it and made it a friendlier space to be in, made it easier to come into, that is pretty cool, man. And I'm not saying I'm going to be the first to sign up to be there, but others will. There are plenty of people, I think, who can get on board with that excitement and become part of something larger just in the area, the culture of cycling, the culture of really having fun.
And that's like, talking to you guys and following you guys on Instagram too. I mean, you're fun-loving guys. It's a friendly space. It's a friendly company.
Hey, thanks, man.
And we hope that, as we've talked about this already, but we want to have a presence at races. We want to have a tent set up. We want to have music. We want to have coffee samples. Like we want this to be a friendly environment. Because I have shown up to group rides before, where again, like you feel like a total reject. Like you're not even welcome to what's going on, because everything is so cliquey. And honestly, that's just kind of cycling as a sport right now. It's very cliquey. So
interesting.
We want to keep it a welcome environment. We want to get more people involved, especially after this year. I mean, there are more people on bikes right now than ever before.
Yeah.
Bike shops, when this pandemic started, sold out. Good luck finding a bike.
Oh.
So there's all those people out there that are new to the sport that have an opportunity to be welcomed into it. And if we're not, as someone who's already been in it, executing this mission of welcoming people in, then we're failing. There'd be a huge missed opportunity.
Mitch, I think Pat shares my sentiment when I say, love your vision for this, love your passion for this. Learned a lot deeper really about what you guys are doing, who you are. Seriously, thanks for being our first Coffee Unfiltered interview, man.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, everybody, this has been our pleasure. And we'd love to connect everybody out there with Mitch. It's very easy to find him. Mitch, can you just say your Instagram handles, please?
Yeah, so my personal one is probably the easiest one to find. So that's at mitch.stowman, Stowman. And I usually post stuff for the team and stuff for other members of the team as well. So if you want to, get connected with Team Shado Cycling, and see what's going on, that's the place to be.
All right. So I want everybody listening, go check them out. Team Shado, Mitch _Stowman, right? Mitch Stowman.
Mitch dot. Yeah.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. Go find Mitch. Pat and I want to give one free bag of coffee to someone by the end of this weekend who's listening to the podcast. This is our first giveaway. Woohoo! First podcast giveaway. And we're really doing it because we want everyone to share in the excitement of what you guys got going on. And thanks for saying that about us, because honestly, each and every week, Pat and I find a new way to get excited about what we're doing. So I feel like you're doing much the same out there. So, all right, the easy thing to do. How do people do this, Pat? People tag good times in a post, maybe a screenshot of following Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say follow both accounts.
Yeah. Screenshot, put it on your story, tag good times. The important thing is tag good times, tag Mitch. For free bag of coffee of your choice. Your choice.
Can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yo, Mitch, speaking of which, can't beat it. Thanks for drinking our coffee, man. I know you feel it. I know you love it.
I do.
That is so cool, man. And a bunch of your team members do. So it just feels like I can't say it feels like I'm part of the team. I'm not doing any of the hard work. You guys,
no, you are fueling the team. You are essential.
No, yes, fuel the team, man. That pumps me up right there. So, Mitch, thanks for your time, man. Pat, I'll see you around, Pat.
Yeah, see you guys around. Thanks, Mitch.
All right,
thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Good timers. We'll check you out soon. Check out the Good Times perks that we have coming up, and subscriptions also available on the website very soon. But for now, go follow Mitch. All right. See you around. Much love to all of you. And
see
goodbye.
you guys.